Hi family and friends. I just wanted to share with you a recipe that is really good, really easy, and actually helps to boost your gut immunity reaction. Um, I'm a big fan of Dr. Gundry's. I have the longevity paradox, which it's actually pretty complicated, but he goes into how we can live our best lives after a certain age and without inflammation and that kind of thing. And basically focuses on your gut health and your biome, which helps us build our immunity. And I don't see a lot of people talking about building our immunity when we really should be doing that right now. So this book actually is like the cliff notes to his plant paradox, which it's the plant paradox, quick and easy. It's the cliff notes. Believe me, this program and what he goes into is very complicated and complex, but this book just gives you the cliff notes and it's really easy to follow, plus some great recipes. So the recipe that I'm looking at right now is called the One Chicken and Veggies. Come over here. It's a sheet pan chicken recipe. You can see I have made it 100 times. I've gotten this book splattered with water and everything else, dog-eared, and I'm just going to go through the recipe. I don't follow it exactly, but it's just so easy and it's so good and it's so good for you, and it's going to boost your immunity. Okay, so first of all, you are going to take basically chicken thighs, which is a very cheap piece of chicken. So if you're on a budget, this is great. He recommends basically bone in, skin on, and pasture raised, but I couldn't get to Whole Foods today. I went to Tom Thumb, so I got whatever, big 8-piece pack for $8. It was awesome. 1.5 teaspoons of sea salt. I don't cook usually with sea salt. I use kosher salt, and I prefer it. So, you're going to have to use some salt on chicken, or it's going to be very bland. A 1/4 cup of avocado oil. If you haven't cooked with avocado oil, you don't know what you're missing. It's actually tastes so much better than olive oil, and it has a high heat point, and so you can cook this stuff. You can cook with this at a very high temperature, and it doesn't burn. It's awesome. And I like this one. It's Primal Kitchen. They have it at Sprouts and Market Street, in most stores. But you can get any avocado oil. A 4th cup of fresh rosemary. I don't use a 4th cup of fresh rosemary. I don't actually use a 4th cup, almost a 4th cup maybe, but I have oregano growing in my yard, I have basil, I have rosemary, and I actually have thyme. So basically I do a chiffonade, which means I just chop up some oregano, basil, rosemary, mince it all up, combine it together. It's going to be awesome. And then I just use the strands of my thyme. I'm going to put that on top, and it cooks off. You can just pull it off when you pull the chicken out of the oven. 4 cloves of garlic minced. I stick with that. 2 cups of broccoli florets, a cup of cauliflower florets, and a cup of asparagus cut into bite-sized pieces. I don't measure it, okay? I just, I'm gonna use whatever I have. I probably didn't use the whole head of cauliflower because I got a really big head of cauliflower, but I want it to cover the whole sheet pan, and it doesn't matter. Don't measure it, just throw it all in, and it's gonna be awesome. And then 8 to 10 shallots. I don't use 8 to 10 shallots because shallots are very pungent. They're very strong, so I just use 3. Basically cut, peeled and quartered, and then a lemon is thinly sliced. So you're going to preheat the oven to 425, sprinkle the chicken with salt, which I've already done, and in a large bowl you're going to combine your olive oil, rosemary, garlic, and the remaining salt. So I'm going to do that right now. Got it all measured out. I've got a 4th cup of the probably should move this over here, okay, so you can see it. Avocado oil, mix in the garlic, all my wonderful herbs. So this is, and then the salt, it's 1 teaspoon. And like I said, I use kosher salt. One thing that I do a little differently, they say to mix in the lemon. I actually juice the ends of the lemon and put the lemon juice in, which is awesome. And I don't mix in the lemons with all of the vegetables. What I do is I basically, you know, put the vegetables down on the sheet pan, and then I put a lemon slice on top, and then I put the chicken thighs on top of each lemon. So that's one thing I do a little bit differently, okay? Got that all mixed up. Now I'm gonna bring in these beautiful veggies. These are awesome. It smells so good. It's gonna be so good. So we're gonna put in all of these vegetables, which basically are cruciferous vegetables, the broccoli and the cauliflower. Really, really good for your gut health. And we're just gonna take these veggies and just toss them in this oil and basically herb mixture. And oh my goodness, this smells so good. Believe me, this is the easiest thing you're gonna ever do. A bunch of veggies, some herbs, and you know, oil and garlic. So easy. So good for you. So Dr. Gundry is an awesome doctor. He is a cardiologist, okay? And one day he woke up, he was really burned out in his job, and he wanted to help people more than just, he wanted to help more people than just seeing patients. And he's got a podcast, he's got a YouTube channel. He gives out a lot of, you know, lots of information. Just wants to help everybody be really healthy and understand that, you know, we don't have to age. We can age one way. I say we can age one way or another. We need to exercise. We need to take really full responsibility for our health. You know, if you don't have your health, what do you have? And you could be, you know, you could have type 2 diabetes, which basically is an epidemic in our country, and it's, you know, it can be totally controlled, and it actually can be totally reversed with diet, exercise. You know, you don't have to have arthritis. You don't have to have all this inflammation and aches and pains and things like that in your body. And he tries to help people with their longevity. He has studied people in these, I think they call them blue spots, where there's major numbers of centurions, like Loma Linda, California, and then there's another spot in Italy where people, there's just like a whole bunch of people that are over 100 years old, and they're still very active and doing all kinds of things. So what I'm going to do now is just take all of these wonderful vegetables and spread them out on this baking sheet. And you really need a baking sheet. Whoops, got one on the floor. You need a baking sheet that has kind of a lip on it or an edge on it. So get all of the garlic and oil and everything else out of the pan. This is one of my favorite dishes. I just love it, and I can't believe how healthy it is for you. Because basically, when you eat it, you're like, oh my goodness, that's got to be so fattening, and it's not. And you don't really need anything else with this. You've got your veggies and you've got your protein, and that's it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lay out these lemon slices, kind of put them like around here. I got a lot of veggies, and this is great. These just melt down, and they're awesome. And then I'm going to put some thyme all around, and just let it, you know, this is going to kind of burn off, and you know, you can pull the stems out. It's awesome. And then I'm going to put a chicken breast on top of each lemon. And I'm gonna put this in the oven. I've been preheating it. 425. Let me tell you how long it's gonna cook. So 30 to 35 minutes. So what I do at the end that's not in this recipe that makes it just totally awesome is I put the broiler on, and I broil these for about 3 to 4 minutes at the end, and it crisps up the skin like you wouldn't believe. It's so good. I hope you'll try this recipe, and it, you know, and I hope you'll like it as much as we like it. Even my husband likes it, and I try to not tell him it's health food. So everybody stay safe and look at, you know, consider trying to boost your immunity as opposed, you know, in addition to all the things that we've been told by the, you know, wash your hands, don't touch your face, you know, cover your mouth when you cough, all those kind of things, keep a good distance, but also consider boosting your immunity. Love you, everybody. Bye.